We're back at Gamer Sanctuary on Wednesday night for some 40k. It's week 2 of chapter 2 of the Intrusion at Ora Recentes campaign. We've all been matched up. We've got 9 players here tonight, and a couple more are on their way to Gen Con, which is why we're a bit short-handed today. So we're going to see who I get to play with my orcs today, and talk a little bit more about the campaign as things happen. With my orcs today, actually, first of all, this is a 1750 point list. With the orcs, we are actually going to be playing 2 detachments. The primary detachment is this one right here, and this is out of the WAAAGH supplement. So we have Warbots WAAAGH Deffcruncha, or Deffcruncha, excuse me, Deffcruncha. I keep going back and forth. It's Deffcruncha with all his war gear, leading a mob of 30 yard boys, 3 big shooters, Knob with boss pole and power claw. So they're going to be my big fearless blob. We also have Clive Pit Scratcher. He's my Big Mac with the Mega Custom Force Field to give me a 4+ invuln against all shooting attacks. There, he is with 3 Mega Knobs. Gazgul is actually just another Mega Knob with Combi Scorcha and Boss Pole. I do have a Grot Oiler in there just in case. I have another squad of 10 R-Boys with a Knob, Power Claw, Big Shooter, all that jazz. I have 5 Ludas. And 2 Death Dreads, our new addition. We have Blacken and Deca. Actually, yeah, Blacken and Deca right here. Again, thank you to Oscar for the awesome naming. We've got 2 Scorches on this one and 2 Custom Mega Blasts on that one. Both have Grot Riggers and extra armor as well. The Gazgul detachment, before we start the game, I get to roll a d6. On a 6, that unit gets to deep strike for the game. If they're troop choices, they get to do it on a 5 or 6. So that's going to be a nice little surprise if it manages to work. Coming over here, though, mostly because I wanted to get some more HQ units in the game, and the Gazgul detachment only allows 2, I have Drozden the Hairy. Kudos to you guys if you can get the reference to that name here. He's my Warp Head. He has 2 squads of shooter boys, Big Shooter in this one, Rocket in this one, Knobs of Power Claws and Boss Poles. These are the looted wagons are actually just going to be regular trucks with big shooters today, and then I have a mech gun with a tractor cannon and all the extra grots that go along with it. So this is 1750 points. We are going to be playing a Maelstrom of War mission using the objective cards, and I'll take a look at my opponent's army in just a second. This is my opponent Matt and his Sons of Medusa army. Matt is one of the new players to the campaign, and we're excited to have him because he plays it painted, guys. Keep it up, keep it up. We have a Tech Priest, or I'm sorry, a Master of the Forge, digital weapons, and he's got one of the League upgrades, Pyromaster, excuse me. So all his flamer weapons have shred now, which is pretty cool. Speaking of flamer weapons, we have the core element of his army, 3 ironclad dreadnoughts in drop pods with double heavy flamers each. So my boys are really not excited about that. I'm going to try to cluster them all around my custom mega force field to see if I can save as many as possible. See how many orcs we can fit into a 6-inch bubble. We have 4 Grav Centurions. 2 tactical squads also coming out of drop pods. They're mostly armed with plasmas. Plasma guns, I don't see no plasma cannons, so just a plasma gun. And we have 2 Storm Ravens with las cannons and multi-multis. I'm sorry, yeah, Storm Ravens. Still don't have one for my own Marines. 1750 points. Oh, the tower here represents one of Matt's fortress upgrades he purchased. Basically, he gets a free comms tower in every game, so he gets a +1 to his reserve rolls. All right, we're going to go to deployment and setting up the table. All right, here we have a shot of the table. I have most of my forces on the table, castled up around my my Big Mech. Both of the boy squads from the Gazgul detachment are actually deep striking. So they're going to be 40 Slugga boys deep striking in sometime throughout the game. I have some cover here with my Ludas and my mech gun. The trucks are back here, the dreads are here, and the weird boys actually joining the Mega Knob squad. And we were kind of looking. Matt decided just to put the 4 Centurions on the table because he has drop pods and flyers for everything else, and then promptly rolls a 6 to seize. He wasn't even sure if he wanted to do it, but he's got no choice now. He's going first. So we got to roll for night fighting still, and then we'll move on from there. Matt's first turn could have been an awful lot worse for me. The Centurions moved up, and 3 ironclad dreadnoughts and drop pods deep struck in. These 2, however, scattered completely away from my guys. This one just decided to shoot at the Ludas up here in the cover, wipe that out, so you got first blood. That's okay, I think it was 60 points. Not terribly concerned about that. Over here, one of the Gretchen from the weapon crew got killed, and the gun took a hit, but I made my armor save. Over here, The Centurions, 3 of them could see the Mega Knobs, so they opened fire on them. Killed one right away, and then that one proceeded to make invulnerable save after invulnerable save. He took only a single wound, so only 3 wounds from all the Centurion's shots. It saved me quite a bit. This Dreadnought then tried to heavy flame them as well. Got 2 wounds, or 1 wound, I'm sorry, but I made my save there. So, we'll see if I can get rid of some of these Dreadnoughts in my zone in the bottom of turn 1. I had some pretty bad rolling this turn and didn't do anywhere near what I wanted to. I tried to I moved the Mega Knobs out of the way, and I was going to try to jump them back there to hit the Centurions with a Power Vomit, and I failed my jump roll, so they didn't go anywhere really. They took a shot at the Dreadnought and did nothing. Meanwhile, this Dreadnought, that would be Dekka and the mob of boys here, charged into that Dreadnought, and I did nothing to him. He glanced me once, or no, I'm sorry, he shook me once. But I passed my mob rule check on a 1, so because they're stuck in, they're fine. The mob that came out of this tank charged that Dreadnought, and I didn't do anything to him again. He killed a bunch of them on Overwatch, and then I failed my leadership check, rolled a 6 for mob rule, and they ran off the table. Or I'm sorry, he ran them down. Over here, though, I did blow up a drop pod with my other Dreadnought just to clear some space. So we're going to get pummeled from with some reserves, and then maybe my boys will decide to deep strike in themselves. Alright, most of the game still is resolving around this fracas in the middle here. We did have 1 drop pod full of Tactical Marines jump out that way, and the other one back over here. These guys fired on and killed some more of the Grots. There's 1 crew member left, and he held. The gun did take another wound, or did take a single wound, excuse me. The Dreadnought over here charged into the truck and blew it up, giving Matt a victory point for Big Game Hunter. I love it. He gets, a 30-point truck gets him a victory point. This fight kind of stalled out. I lost one of my Scorches. He lost an arm, but both of these Dreadnoughts managed to get a hull point back from their will not die rolls. This fight, though, that Dread got his back last turn. We forgot to roll up, so we just did it this turn. He got 1 back from his Grot Rigger, and then promptly did 2 hull points to him, and he failed to get any back. So this is, again, still kind of going on here. But the biggest thing that happened was the Centurions unloaded into the Mega Knobs, and my luck for making invulnerable saves just didn't carry out this turn, and the whole squad of Mega Knobs, plus my Big Mech, plus my Weird Boy, all died. So I'm going to move now into my turn 2 to see if my big old 30 mob of boys gets deep strike onto the table. Turn 2, I got my small mob of Slugga boys in there, just because I had the card to hold that objective, so I got 1 point there for objective 5, and I did manage to kill a single Marine with Slugga shots. Over here, I lost my Dreadnought in combat to that Dreadnought with 1 arm, and he consolidated a little forward. Over here, though, I took another hull point on a glance, and then got it back from my Will Not Die after I ripped that Dreadnought apart with my own power claws. The boys and the Dreadnought consolidated that way to kind of run away from all that heavy flamer fire. And that's it. I'm kind of really in trouble here. So we're going to move into turn 3. Top of turn 3, we had a Storm Raven come in there and blow up the last Death Dread. The Centurions immobilized the truck here. The Dread, this Dreadnought hit the squad of boys twice with its heavy flamer, killed 7 of them. These guys are running. This one tried to hit the truck to kill it and then failed to charge on it. Over here, these Marines charged in and just beat the crap out of that little grot. It's kind of unfair. We're going to call PETA something and get some animal cruelty charges filed against Matt's Marines. But that's it for turn 3, and let's see if my 30-plus boys want to come on in this turn. I did forget to mention Matt got another point here for securing that objective 4, so now he has 5 total. He's got 4 cards, plus he has First Blood. He looks like very likely to get Linebreaker as well. We keep laying on though, turn 3. Alright, bottom of turn 3, things actually looked up. We made a little mistake. Because I called my WAAAGH and I have Prophet of the WAAAGH as my Warlord trait, that squad is still fearless. Even though they lost the combat, they're going to stay on the table. I did kill the Sergeant in the challenge, and none of the Marines with my attacks. I rolled really poorly on my wound rolls. But I'm sitting there with no Sergeant to fight against, and my Knobs got a wound on him from Overwatch. Down here, I killed a couple of the Marines with shooting because my big mob of boys decided to deep strike in right there. They did grab that objective to secure me another point. And that's it. So I have 2 points, and Matt has 5, I believe, right now, and he's still holding on to Linebreaker for 6. We're going to move now into turn 4. His Warlord and his Stormraven are finally going to come in with this lowly old truck is the only thing left to shoot at. Turn 4, Matt's Warlord arrived in his Stormraven ride, and a bunch of stuff fired into the Orc horde over here, and took out a good chunk of it, but there's still plenty of Orcs there to be dangerous. In this fight, I managed to actually win it. My Knob killed 1 Marine, and everything else just kind of slapped at each other. Matt got another point for securing what objective?
Number 5.
Objective 5, right there with the Stormraven. So he's now got 6 points to my 2. Bottom of 4 coming up. Turn 4, I decided to try to get a little gutsy. I drew the tactical card that I had to roll a die to randomly secure an objective this turn, and I rolled that one. So this, the boys mob ran and grabbed that one. Meanwhile, Deffcruncha decided he was going to try to kill a Dreadnought by himself, and he tried to charge to 5 hits from heavy flamers, but only a single wound, and I rolled my feel no pain roll on it, but I failed my charge big time. In other news, over here, I killed a Marine, he killed 2 boys, and they're still fighting. So we're going to go into turn 5, and Matt's just going to keep racking up points.